Think about the last time someone didn't text back, or you found out about something you weren't invited to, or you felt in a room full of people like you were on the outside of something you couldn't name. That feeling, that specific quiet sting. Your brain treats it like an emergency. Your stomach drops, your thoughts loop, your body tenses over a text message. It seems like an overreaction. It is not. For 290,000 years, that feeling was not a social inconvenience. It was the first sign that you were in danger. So what actually happened in the ancient world when nobody liked you? And why does your body still respond to being left out like your life depends on it? Because once it did. Your world is roughly 25 to 30 people. That is it. You have known every single one of them your entire life. Your grandmother sleeps a few feet from your children. You eat together. You move together. You depend on each other for everything. In that world, your reputation isn't just important, it is a survival tool. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner found that the Zhu-Huanzi Bushman, one of the closest living parallels to ancient hunter-gatherer life, spent hours every day in casual conversation. Who took more than their share? Who told a good joke last week? Who has been quiet and might be sick? This conversation was the camp's operating system, and it was also the entire legal system. The way ancient groups kept order was by talking about each other. If a man hoarded meat, people made jokes about him until he stopped. If a woman broke a promise, the whispers traveled to every camp within a day's walk. And if you became genuinely unbearable, eventually no camp would have you. That is the harshest punishment a hunter-gatherer can face. Wiesner's fieldwork notes this almost never had to be used because the steps leading up to it were so effective. No prison, no fine, no written law. Just the slow, careful withdrawal of the people keeping you alive. On paper, being unpopular sounds like a social problem. In the ancient world, it was a survival crisis. A slow one, but a real one. In 1969, the anthropologist Richard Lee was living with the Kung people of the Kalahari. He had been there for years. When Christmas came, he wanted to do something generous, so he bought the biggest, fattest ox he could find and brought it to camp. The Kung immediately started mocking it. Too skinny. The meat would be terrible. He had wasted everyone's time. Lee was baffled. He had checked the animal. It was excellent. So he asked an elder what was happening. The elder explained, when a Kung hunter brings home a big kill, the camp does not celebrate. They mock it. The bigger the contribution, the harder they cut it down. Because a man who thinks he has done something great starts thinking he is better than everyone else. And that is the thing that breaks a group faster than anything. Lee had brought a great gift, so they had to cut him down to size. Every joke, every complaint, every whispered story was a tiny tool for keeping people equal. Not cruelty, calibration. Ostracism in the ancient world did not happen all at once. It happened the way water fills a room. Slowly, then all at once. First you are talked over in conversation, then left out of small decisions. Then the portions at meals are divided before you arrive. Then the group moves camp and tells you where they went, but a day late. Then they stop telling you at all. Neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA ran fMRI scans on people experiencing social exclusion. What she found should not have surprised anyone, but it did. Being left out activates the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the same region that processes physical pain, not a similar region, the same one. The brain does not distinguish between a broken bone and a broken friendship, not in the regions that matter. It treats both as damage that needs to be addressed immediately. This is not a design flaw. For 290,000 years, it was accurate. Social exclusion was physical danger, just on a delay. A single person cannot hunt large game alone, cannot maintain a fire through a cold night alone, cannot survive an encounter with most predators alone. The pain was the warning system. And it worked. Here is the part almost nobody talks about. In every documented hunter-gatherer society, there was always someone the group found difficult, strange, intense, hard to be around for long periods. The person who asked too many questions, the one who saw things differently, who kept the group up at night with ideas that made people uncomfortable. Christopher Boehm at USC spent decades studying what he called reverse dominance hierarchy across dozens of hunter-gatherer groups. His research found that these communities were extraordinarily good at suppressing bullies, cutting down arrogance, and keeping hierarchy flat. But they did not suppress eccentricity, they tolerated it, sometimes they protected it. The person who was hard to like was often the group's innovator, the one who had tried something nobody else would try, who failed in ways that gave the group information, who noticed what others normalized. The zine transcript documents this pattern in the Hadza and the Bushman. The camp's most socially difficult member was often also the most observant tracker, the most creative problem solver, or the one who knew the water sources nobody else had found. Being disliked was not automatically a sentence. It was a signal, and the group had to decide what to do with it. Here is what changed. In an ancient group of 25 people, everyone knew everyone. The unpopular person was visible to the whole group simultaneously. The group could respond in real time. The feedback was immediate, specific, and personal. It was also reversible. Behavior changed. The group adjusted. Life continued. In a modern city of 8 million, none of that is true. You can be genuinely disliked by 1,000 people and never receive a single piece of real feedback. You can be excluded from a social circle and never know why. You can spend years slowly losing warmth from the people around you and have no system, no gossip network, no camp council, no elder to ask to tell you what you are doing wrong or whether it is fixable. The ancient system for handling social rejection was painful, but it had a purpose. It had feedback. It had a path back. We replaced it with anonymity, with a social world so large that no one is responsible for anyone else's adjustment. In the tribe, if nobody liked you, everyone knew it. You knew it. And the group worked in their brutal and effective way to resolve it. Now, you can be nobody to 1 million people and have no idea where you stand with any of them. The loneliness epidemic is not the opposite of the tribal exclusion system. It is what happens when you take that system away and replace it with nothing. You are back on your phone, the message still unanswered, the group chat you weren't added to, that specific quiet sting. You know now that the pain you feel is not disproportionate. It is ancient. Your brain is running a program that is 290,000 years old, designed for a world where that sting was a vital early warning system. The system is still running perfectly in a world it was never built for. In the tribe, that feeling would have prompted action from you, from the group, from the people who cared enough to tell you the truth. Now it just sits there, in the background of a life lived mostly among strangers, looping quietly, asking a question it was designed to ask, and receiving no answer. There are still thousands of secrets buried in 290,000 years of human history. Subscribe, and let's uncover the next one together. Being disliked today stings. In the tribe, it killed you. And the reason your body still reacts to social rejection the same way it reacts to physical pain is because, for most of human history, there was no difference.